No respect.
This past Sunday, we saw some incredible displays of effort by the Detroit Lions players. But one in particular really got the fans excited, and a little bit of a buzz began shortly after this play across just about any social media platform. And it was the play that involved Jameson Williams springing David Montgomery for a 75-yard touchdown. I don't think personally that David Montgomery would have been able to make it to the end zone without this key block. And what I also noticed during many of the replays, which I've now watched probably 100 times, is that Amon-Ra St. Brown couldn't catch up. He was kind of third, fourth man back. He had Khalif Raymond up to the right, Jameson Williams next to David Montgomery, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown was behind them about 7-8 yards. And listening to David Montgomery today, and he said, shout out to JMO. As I'm running as fast as I can, he's barely jogging. And I thought that it's just incredible that they understand just how fast he is, and his long speed is what really made the difference here. And that's what I don't think many people understand about JMO is, yes, he's quick in short area situations. He's fast, but it's his long speed that is faster than everybody else. A player like Tyreek Hill is fast from, snap to whistle all the way through, but he kind of tops out, at like the 50-yard mark, as where JMO starts to pick more speed up after the 40-yard line. And that's one thing that I really want to pound home with everybody, because you'll notice, after you go back and watch, the highlights after you watch this video, pay attention to JMO. When he gets lined up next to David Montgomery and he kind of looks over at him, don't know if he said something to him, but then JMO starts to pull ahead, and he pulls ahead and positions himself to get in between both of those Chargers defenders and takes the furthest opponent up, right? And then, the rest of the play happens. But there's a few things that came out of this. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about is what Dan Campbell said. And I thought this was specifically interesting because there's been a lot of speculation about Jameson Williams and being underutilized, within the scheme, or not utilized. And in the type of work that he's been getting, it doesn't fit his style. And we know that the Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson and what they're all about, Aaron Glenn, is that you need to earn your stripes. You need to put the work in, right? You need to show up every single day with your lunch pail, put the work in, and earn the trust of your teammates. And as long as you do that every single day and you have the skill, you're going to get somewhere on this team. But you're not going to walk into the team, earning first team reps, getting, a boatload of targets. It's just not how it works. They do it old school. But this is what Dan Campbell had to say. And there's a few things that I'm going to pull out of it. So he says, man, he's part of the team. He's one of the guys. He's putting in a good day's work. He's physical. He's tough. And so the more he earns his stripes here, the more opportunities he gets, because every time he makes a block like he does, or he runs the routes he's running, he makes some catches. You just gain the trust of everybody around you, and it keeps going and going. And then he followed that up with, and his comfort level, his confidence level is going up. So he's in a good place right now. He's improving. It's a good thing, man. We're proud of the way he went after it the other day. So the few things that I want to break out of this are, number one, he's part of the team. He's one of the guys. And I don't think this is necessarily a knock on JMO as it is, when you join a locker room and you join a team and you're a rookie, there's a certain level of, quote unquote hazing that used to happen back in the day, right? And you would go through some stuff. And I guess that's all I'm going to say is you're going to go through some stuff in the beginning to earn the trust and respect of your team. And before you are lamented as, a true teammate, you're going to go through some stuff. That's just part of it. It's part of sports. And I can't speak to professional sports because I never made it that far. But based on what I've read, what I know, the people I speak to, relationships that I have, it's part of it. And JMO's no different. It doesn't matter if you're a first round pick. Doesn't matter if you're a seventh round pick. But what I'm gaining from this is that maybe JMO is finally starting to earn some respect around the locker room. And that sometimes can take a season. It could take a half a season. It could take 2 seasons. But at this point, he's starting to earn some respect. Another thing that I want to pull out of this is the more that he earns his stripes here, the more opportunities he gets. This is important because back in springtime and during training camp, that's all you heard about Sam Laporta, right? And Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell was that they needed to go and earn their stripes. It did not matter that they were first round pick, third round pick, second round pick. It had no bearing on where they were drafted. They needed to go in, day out, put the work in, and prove to the coaches and their teammates that 1, they knew what they were doing, 2, that they could do it, and 3, they could be consistent enough to do it day in and day out, to have the respect and the trust of the coaching staff. Jameson's had a very rocky start to his career. He hasn't had consistency because right off the get-go, he came in with, the ACL. And then he came back and it appeared like he didn't really know the playbook very well and he was running some bad routes. Didn't get a whole lot of targets. Had a couple of altercations along the sideline with coaches last season. And then this season, he gets suspended because of gambling. So he gets off to a rocky start. Yes, he goes through training camp. He goes through OTAs, mini camp, all that stuff. And then during his suspension, it just appeared that maybe he didn't put the work in. And really that was based on what he said, only catching 100 balls a day when your teammate, Amon-Ra St. Brown, is catching 202 a day plus practice. So at some point, Jameson probably lost the respect, the dignity, the trust, everything of the coaching staff and his teammates because of the things that he was doing and the things that he was not doing. But that tide seems to have finally shifted. And like Dan Campbell said next, every time that he makes a block, like he does, or he runs the routes he's running, makes some catches, you gain the trust of everybody around you. What this is boiling down to be is he just needs to keep doing what he's doing. Keep on getting on, right? Or keep on keeping on. Just go in, put your head down, don't expect the world. Keep making stride after stride after stride every single day. Humble. Lot of humble pie right now. Go in and get after it and expect nothing out of it but personal growth. And that's what we're seeing that's happening right now. He's having fun. He needed to get out of his head because clearly he's been inside his head with every drop, man. He knew, I'm going to hear it on social media. I'm going to hear it from my coaches. I'm going to hear it from my teammates. Then I'm going to go home and I'm going to flip through my phone and that's all I'm going to see is JMO this, JMO that. And all of that's going through your head the minute you drop the ball in the game, whether you believe it or not. Been there, done that, right? Coach kids that believe that way. So it's one of those things where he just needs to get out of his own head and he needs to start to have fun again. He needs to enjoy the sport for what it is, a game. But take it seriously because it's a profession for him at this level. It doesn't get any bigger than this. Jameson is really starting to become more integrated into this offense as a trusted member. of the Detroit Lions. His involvement in the key plays and the trust that he's building with his teammates and his coaches, I believe, are testaments to his growth and the importance of just taking a little bit of extra time each and every day to do the little things. It's clear that he's physical. All right. It's clear that he's tough. Like Dan Campbell said, he's tough. He has no problem mixing it up with the guys. He has no problem getting chippy. There's a couple of moments where he got chippy at the end of a couple of plays. But what's great to see is that he has the willingness to go in and give up his body to make some blocks so his teammate can go score a touchdown. It's the unselfishness that's going to get him further. His day will come. And there's going to be some big days if he continues on the path that he's on right now. I'm glad that Dan Campbell feels like J-Mo is finally starting to become one of the guys. Because that locker room at the end of a game is probably the best experience anybody could ever have as an athlete. That's what it's all about, is everything inside that locker room after the game. Win, lose, or draw. Those are the guys you're going to battle with. Those are the guys that are going to be there to pick you up. They should be the ones that are going to be there to put you down, to let you know what you're doing wrong. But the point is they're always going to be there. And once J-Mo has that trust and feels that he can make mistakes and know that he can get better and he can get beyond it, we're going to start seeing some big days out of this kid. So I'm extremely happy to see what I've seen. I encourage you to go watch the highlights a few times, because now we're getting to a point where pretty soon it's going to be J-Mo on the other end of that long run. He's going to be the one with the ball. And what's really inspiring to me is that, he had the first touchdown of the game. Now, he didn't run a ton of routes, throughout the game. He didn't really have, anything to look at that would say that he's grown in that direction as a route runner. He just didn't get a lot of targets. I mean, if you're out there just running around, to be a blocker, that's one thing. But we didn't see him get a lot of targets on Sunday. But he got in the game plan early, and the touchdown was nullified by a penalty. And I believe the old J-Mo would have been stuck in his head. And maybe he wouldn't have been involved in that play with David Montgomery. But this time was different. And he was involved, and he was a very big part of it happening, which was also a very big part of this team winning that game. So congratulations, J-Mo. Really proud of you, man. I'm glad to see that you're finally starting to make some strides. And, we've got plenty of tape on you by now, and plenty of videos out there about you. And I want you to win, man. We know you got it. Go get it. So until next time, go One Pride, go Detroit Lions. We'll see you later. Take care.
Wants to throw it to Sewell. He caught it. He's going on the first down. Oh, yes. The big man dives down the 31-yard line. Oh, that is beautiful. Fields looking, pressured, hit from behind, take it down. Aiden Hutchinson got him.
No respect.
So, we look like we're ready. This is day one.
No respect.